Let's try a physics problem. You're standing on a building that's 50 feet tall and you're about to drop an egg. It turns out that you can figure out when your egg will hit the ground using the equation h equals minus 16t squared plus 50, where h is the height of the egg and t is the amount of time that will take. H is in feet and t will be in seconds. The first thing we can do is get rid of one variable because we know that we're trying to solve for the amount of time it takes for the egg to hit the ground. That means that h, the height of the egg, is actually going to just be 0. Then you can set the equation equal to 0. Now we just need to solve for t, or time. So the first thing we'll do is factor out negative 16. This will set 0 equal to negative 16 times the quantity t squared, and that is added to 50 divided by then negative 16. Now we're going to just get rid of the negative 16 by simply dividing both sides of the equation by negative 16, which we just factored out. This means that 0 is equal to t squared plus negative 50 divided by 16. Now we want to do our best to isolate the t squared so we can solve for t. So if you take t squared on one side of the equation and add 50 divided by 16 to both sides, you'll find that t squared is simply equal to 50 divided by 16. And remember, this is now positive 50 because you've added it to both sides of the equation. Now comes the tricky part. We're going to get rid of the square on the t because we want t to be isolated in the end. So we do that by taking the square root of both sides of the equation. So the square root of t squared is pretty easy. It's just t. But the square root of 50 divided by 16 is going to be just a little more complicated. Okay, the square root of 50 divided by 16 can also be written as the square root of 50 divided by the square root of 16. Again, this equals t. Now the easy part of this to take care of is the bottom. We already know the square root of 16 is simply 4. The top part, again, is a little more complicated. Now the square root of 50 can be written as the square root of 25 times the square root of 2. Now one of these two you should recognize is an easily solvable square root. The square root of 25 is 5. Now before we're done, I want to point something out. We've now factored this down and solved this to get t equal to 5 times the square root of 2 divided by 4. But if you remember, when you handle solving of square roots, this is technically plus or minus the square root of 50 divided by 16. But if you look back, this real-world context of a problem is talking about an egg being dropped off a building. And you know that it's not going to be a solution of negative seconds. So you know the solution is going to be positive. So the solution in this case, the exact solution anyhow, is 5 times the square root of 2 divided by 4. And if you punch this into your calculator at this point, you're going to get an approximate solution of about 1.77 seconds until your egg hits the ground and cracks.